So, good afternoon, everyone. Can someone tell me whether my voice is clear and I hope the screen is also clearly visible? आवाज आ रही है सबको? Is my voice clear? Is the screen clearly visible? Is everything fine? Yeah. Okay. Hello. Thank you. Okay. So we will do 31 questions primarily from RBI circulars May 2025. To try to solve these questions. These questions are not only direct conceptual questions but also questions I have created in such a manner so that your application also you can get test application based questions वो भी questions हो जाएंगे questions in the form of numericals, a little bit numerical application that also we'll be able to do. Case study based questions also from these circulars we'll be also be able to do. And then later on we'll be doing descriptive questions, and from the month of May there are most probable questions that have high probability of coming into the examination also. That also we will discuss. But let's first start doing MCQs. MCQs में format वही same रहेगा. Try to think it like exam like conditions. Be serious. For every correct question, give yourself +1. For every incorrect, give yourself -1/4. And do tell me what was your score later on, in the comment box. Chaliye. First question. Which entity has been provided in principle approval for setting up of wholly owned subsidiary in India in the month of May 2025? बताइए, what do you think is the correct answer? Recently, we've studied about this circular in which we've discussed about what are the different ways via which a wholly owned subsidiary of a foreign bank can be established in India. So announcement किसके context में था? Please tell me. What do you think? Rishi is saying A. Pavitra is also saying A. Prashant saying A. H. Singh saying C. Abu Dhabi Commercial Bank. What about others? Good afternoon, Shiva. आओ जल्दी से करेक्ट आंसर दो इसका. Yes, all of you are correct. Emirates NBD is the correct answer. A is the correct answer. The Emirates NBD Bank has been provided with in principle approval regarding wholly owned subsidiary. Let's move on to the next question. Which cooperative bank has been recently included in the second schedule of the Reserve Bank of India Act in the month of May 2025? Good evening, Mukund. बताइए, what do you think is the correct answer? Which cooperative bank has been recently included over here in the second schedule? तो मार्क कर रहे हो, पूछ रहे हो? एग्जाम में क्वेश्चन मार्क तो रहेगा नहीं. You either choose to mark this option or you either leave it depending upon it. +1, -4, -1/4. Yes, all of you are correct. The correct answer is Vishweshwar Sahakari Bank is the correct answer. Let's move on to the next question. Recently, a bank's name was changed to Slice Small Finance Bank. What bank was that? किस बैंक का नाम चेंज होकर स्लाइस स्मॉल फाइनेंस बैंक हो गया? If you feel like the questions are easy, ठीक है, Do keep that thought whenever you see the later questions. अगर क्वेश्चन आसान लग रहा है अच्छी बात है, यही सेम थॉट रखिएगा जब बाकी के क्वेश्चंस भी आप देखें. Rishi is saying D. Mukund is also saying Northeast. What about others? Northeast या B? अच्छा दोनों सेम ही है, चलो गलती हो गई है ना. Yes. So anyone who is opting for B or D, both are correct. Very good. So Northeast Small Finance Bank is correct. So recently Exim Bank signed an agreement with Government of Mongolia for 700 million Government of India supported line of credit. So under this line of credit, the last date for disbursement will be after how many months? Will be how many months after scheduled completion date of contract? बताइए. कुछ नहीं, क्वेश्चन आसान थे तो अभी सबके आंसर्स आ रहे हैं. क्वेश्चन को थोड़ा टफ होने दो, फिर देखते हैं किन किन के आंसर्स आते हैं. प्लीज ट्राई एंड डू दिस क्वेश्चन. व्हाट डू यू थिंक इज द करेक्ट आंसर फॉर फोर्थ? Rishi saying E, Shivam saying E, Mukund saying 48. All of you are correct. Prashant is also correct. E 48 months is the correct answer. 48 महीने तक का लाइन ऑफ क्रेडिट का सपोर्ट दे रखा है. Yes. See, such type of questions have been asked in phase 1. phase 1 में इसी तरीके के सवाल आते हैं. phase 2 में ये वाले सवाल ज़्यादा नहीं है जो अभी तक हम लोगों ने सवाल देखे. They have much more probability of coming into phase 1. So you prepare accordingly. phase 1 में आपसे ये भी पूछ सकते हैं, गवर्नमेंट पूछ सकते हैं, ठीक है, क्या करने के लिए बुलाया वो भी पूछ सकते हैं. तो यू बी वेरी क्लियर विद रिस्पेक्ट टू ऑल दीज थिंग्स. नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन. Which of the following statement is incorrect with regards to investment by foreign portfolio investor in corporate debt securities through general route? बताइए. Now please do this question. Fifth का correct answer. Everybody please try and do this. There are a lot more provisions that are written over here with respect to how does any foreign portfolio investor invest in debt securities, particularly corporate debt securities through general route. क्योंकि अभी voluntary retention route की बात नहीं कर रहे हैं, fully accessible route की बात नहीं कर रहे हैं. General route के केस में बताइए, what do you think is the incorrect statement amongst all of these? Shivam is saying D, Prashant is saying D, Mukund is also saying D. What about others? Rishi, Pavitra? Yes, all of you are correct. D is the incorrect statement because this whole limit has been removed. है ना, जो short term limits थी, in order to constrict these investments, these have been removed. So thereby making this whole statement incorrect. Understand? और बाकी सारी चीजें करेक्ट है. ये सारी डिटेल्स आपको, ये जो 4 स्टेटमेंट्स हैं, आपको जनवरी के सर्कुलर में मिलेंगी. ठीक है, which clearly says that an FPI shall not invest in corporate debt securities with any optionality clause. Optionality clause में usually put और call options होते हैं, that is exercisable within a year. Okay, all these restrictions have been mentioned in the January circular. तो January में आपके पास master circular है. Here there have been some changes introduced in the May circular, such as removal of such kind of limits. So that's why this statement is incorrect. I hope it is clear. So D is the correct answer. चलिए next question. The Reserve Bank of India shall provide at least how many days to the stakeholders or members of public to submit their comments whenever they come up with any regulations? Easy question. जल्दी बताइए, what do you think is the correct answer? Yes, all of you are correct. The correct answer is 21 days. बहुत बढ़िया, good. चलिए, recently RBI has decided to recognize FIMDA as an SRO in the financial markets, regulated by Reserve Bank. FIMDA was established in which year? अब केवल सर्कुलर से ही क्वेश्चन नहीं आएंगे, थोड़ा बहुत उससे एक्स्ट्रापोलेट करके भी सवाल पूछ लिए जा सकते हैं, तो उनके लिए भी थोड़ा बहुत प्रिपेयर्ड रहिए. व्हाट डू यू थिंक इज द करेक्ट आंसर फॉर 7th? क्या बात है, बहुत बढ़िया, गुड. द करेक्ट आंसर इज 1998. बी. So recently, RBI released a framework for self-regulatory organization in the fintech and financial markets. What is the minimum net worth required for an SRO in the fintech sector? What do you think is the correct answer? कि जितने भी 10 करोड़ वाले हैं, इनका समझ आ चुका है कि क्वेश्चन थोड़ा जल्दी जल्दी पढ़ रहे हैं. थोड़ा एक बार ध्यान से देखो क्वेश्चन क्या पूछ रहा है. Be very clear with respect to what exactly the question is asking. Question is not asking about financial markets which was mentioned in May 2025. मे वाले सर्कुलर में इसके बारे में आपको बता रखा है, जबकि सवाल आपसे क्या पूछा जा रहा है, फिनटेक सेक्टर में कितना एसआरओ का नेटवर्थ है. तो उस सेक्टर के हिसाब से द नेटवर्थ इज 2 करोड़. इन केस ऑफ फाइनेंशियल मार्केट्स द नेटवर्थ इज 10 करोड़. So on the basis of this question, the correct answer is E. Be very clear with respect to this. ठीक है, ध्यान से. बताइए, ABC Bank disburses 200 crore in digital loans under a portfolio backed by a default loss guarantee from a lending service provider. According to RBI's guidelines, what is the maximum cover amount allowed on this portfolio? Application based questions है, provision पता होगा तो you'll be easily be able to do this question. Yes, all of you are correct. 5% का है, तो 5% of 200 crores is 10 crore. Very good. A regulated entity as a DLG, default loss guarantee with an LSP for a portfolio with a loan ranging from 3 to 24 months. What is the minimum period for which DLG agreement must remain in force? बताइए. And this is from the provision. अगर आप का जो लोन पोर्टफोलियो है, उस लोन पोर्टफोलियो में एक पर्टिकुलर टेन्योर के हिसाब से आपको प्रोविजन बना के चलना है. तो मिनिमम कितना आपका टेन्योर होना चाहिए? मिनिमम टेन्योर होना चाहिए आपके लॉन्गेस्ट टेन्योर के हिसाब से. तो 24 मंथ्स इज द करेक्ट आंसर. करेक्ट. Dr. Poonam Gupta have been appointed for how many years? Simple question है, जल्दी बताओ. He has been appointed for, yes, B, 3 years. Recently, which bank was penalized with 1.72 crores for the following contraventions? इन contraventions के लिए किस बैंक को penalty लगी थी? Shivam is skipping. What about others? बाकी सब भी try करो. Anybody wants to try? है ना, कोई contravention करेगा तो इतना तो penalty लगेगा ही, चाहे कोई भी करे. Yes, the correct answer is SBI only. ठीक है, State Bank of India has been penalized with this much amount for these many contraventions. Okay, so 12th C is the correct answer. बताइए, under the revised economic capital framework of Reserve Bank of India, what is the new range for the contingent risk buffer as a percentage of the balance sheet size? This should also be easy. What do you think is the correct answer? Yes. 13th का correct answer है C, 6 plus minus 1.5%. This is very important topic for descriptive also. ठीक है, तो उस हिसाब से be very clear. Which of the following is a key change introduced in the computation of the market risk buffer under the revised economic capital framework? बताइए, what has been the recent change introduced while calculating the market risk and then accordingly the buffer also? अरे इसमें statement eliminate करो, you'll be able to easily come up with the correct answer. See, only वाले तो वैसे ही हटा दिया करो आप. Correct answer C. Both have been included, both on balance sheet exposures as well as off balance sheet exposures. Correct. So 14th correct answer is C. In financial year 25, the Reserve Bank of India transferred huge amount. बताइए, what is the correct amount and what is comparative increase? Growth rate भी याद करके चलना. See, growth rates are also important. Okay. Apart from this value that you guys already know, also remember growth rate. Correct answer is B, 2.69 lakh crore and 27.4% increase from last year. So correct answer is B. ये जितने भी आंसर अपने डिलीट कर रहे हैं ना, सब पता लग रहा है मेरे को. ठीक है. And I understand, Pavitra, it was a typo. Don't worry. I'm just telling that I can see. What is the maximum buffer to accommodate monetary and financial stability risks that RBI must maintain? इसमें आपको मॉनेटरी एंड फाइनेंशियल स्टेबिलिटी रिस्क का जो रेंज है उसका मैक्सिमम निकालना है. प्लीज टेल, व्हाट डू यू थिंक इज द करेक्ट आंसर? The correct answer is in question number 16, E 6.5, because the range is 5 plus minus 1.5%. The contingent risk buffer, which includes buffer for monetary stability risk, credit risk, and operational risk, should be minimum how much? इसमें भी contingent risk buffer की भी एक range है. All of you remember that. So 6 plus minus 1.5. 17 का आंसर क्या होगा? 17 का आंसर माइनस मिनिमम पूछा हुआ है तो 4.5% ऑफ द बैलेंस शीट. यस, तो ए इज द करेक्ट आंसर. Now assume that market risk buffers are fully met and available realized equity is 8.1% of the balance sheet size. How much equity above threshold can be written back? It should also be easy because maximum range कितना है? 7.5%. अगर आपके पास 8.1 है तो 0.6% you can send it to your surplus, क्योंकि बफर तो एनीवे 7.5 आपका मेंटेन रहेगा. तो A 0.6% इज द करेक्ट आंसर. ठीक है, आई होप दिस इज क्लियर. क्या हो गया? ठीक है, आप लोगों को समझ में आ गया ना? सी, दिस इज द मेन कंडीशन ना, दैट 7.5 तक अगर बफर मेंटेन्ड है तो उसके बियॉन्ड जितना भी पैसा है यू कैन सेंड इट बैक टू सरप्लस. ठीक है, फिर आप प्रॉफिट में डाल दो उसको. बफर मेंटेन करके चलना, हमने मैक्सिमम बफर मेंटेन करके चला है तो उसके बियॉन्ड जितना भी पैसा पड़ा हुआ है आप डाल दो. तो ए इज द करेक्ट आंसर. Tell me, a housing finance company contributes 6% in an alternate investment fund. That alternate investment funds invest in non-convertible debentures of a company to which HFC gave a loan 9 months ago. What will the HFC need to do in this case? Yes, Shivam and Mukund, all of you are correct, because if it is more than 5% and there is a downstream investments, then obviously 100% provisioning needs to be maintained. ठीक है, ये हम लोगों ने alternate investment funds वाले केस में पढ़ा था, to prevent evergreening. So yes, 19C is the correct answer. According to the RBI's draft directions, what is the maximum permissible collective investment by all regulated entities in a single alternate investment fund? Maximum collective कितना है? Maximum for all regulated entity, obviously the correct answer is C. ठीक है, 15%. In case of individual, it is 10%. What action must a regulated entity take if its alternate investment fund is in the form of subordinate units under priority distribution model? अगर वो प्रायोरिटी डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन मॉडल वाले के केस में आपने इन्वेस्टमेंट किया है तो आपको क्या करना पड़ेगा? What do you have to do in this case? That was another provision. कि डाउनस्ट्रीम इन्वेस्टमेंट वाले में आपको 100% प्रोविजनिंग करनी थी, बट इफ यू हैव इन्वेस्टेड इन एन अल्टरनेट इन्वेस्टमेंट फंड जहां पर आपका जो प्रॉफिट का डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन इट इज प्रायोरिटी वाइज, तो इन दिस केस द अमाउंट दैट यू हैव इन्वेस्टेड यू हैव टू रिमूव इट फ्रॉम योर टीयर 1 प्लस टीयर 2 कैपिटल. तो करेक्ट आंसर इज बी. Under RBI, wholly owned subsidiary scheme, which of the following foreign banks must operate in India only through a wholly owned subsidiary method? बताइए, what do you think is the correct answer? So I'm saying B. Yes, correct. So जहाँ पर अगर प्रेफरेंशियल होम कंट्री डिपॉजिट क्लेम्स हैं तो उनको होली ओन सब्सिडरी के फॉर्मेट में ही इंडिया में ऑपरेट करने का मौका मिलेगा. So recently, as all of you know, Emiratis has received RBI's in principle approval to convert its Indian branch into a wholly owned subsidiary. What is the minimum capital requirement for this much amount of conversion? What do you think is the correct answer? Is it D or is it C? कुछ लोग D मार रहे हैं, कुछ B मार रहे हैं. नहीं, B तो कोई नहीं मार रहा, बट C मार रहे हैं. देखिए, करेक्ट आंसर इज C, 5 billion. RBI mandates a minimum net worth of rupees 5 billion for foreign banks who wants to convert branches into a wholly owned subsidiary. ठीक है, तो be very clear, 5 billion is the correct answer. बताइए, which of the following is not a factor considered by Reserve Bank of India while approving a WOS application? ये तो एकदम सिंपल सा है. अब यूरोप में कितने ब्रांचेस हैं, हमें क्या मतलब, है ना? सही बात है. तो सी इज द करेक्ट आंसर. सी का मतलब ही नहीं है. If a foreign, wholly owned subsidiary of a foreign bank fails to meet its priority sector lending target, what happens in that case? लॉजिकल गेस लगाने होता है. देखो, स्टेटमेंट बेस्ड क्वेश्चंस का फायदा यही होता है कि आप स्टेटमेंट्स को एलिमिनेट करने का ट्राई कीजिए. दैट हेल्प्स यू कम अप टू द राइट आंसर. इसमें भी वही फायदा होगा. What do you think is the correct answer? The correct answer is it must rectify the shortfall in the next financial year. Correct. अब लाइसेंस थोड़े हटा देंगे. बताइए, what is the minimum capital adequacy ratio that such kind of wholly owned subsidiary should have? इनका capital adequacy requirement कितना था? What was the capital adequacy requirement? The capital adequacy requirement for such kind of wholly owned subsidiary was 1% above, normal for scheduled commercial banks. So scheduled commercial banks का 9% है, 9% plus 1%. The correct answer is 10%. ठीक है? I hope this is clear. See, a wholly owned subsidiary wants to open 12 branches in a financial year. How many it must be opened in unbanked rural centers? ये तो नॉर्मल ब्रांच ऑथराइजेशन पॉलिसी के हिसाब से. बताइए, 12 के हिसाब से कितना इनको रूरल एरियाज में करना पड़ेगा? 12 के हिसाब से 25% का मैंडेट है ना, 25% मैंडेट. तो देयर बाय बी इज द करेक्ट आंसर. 3 ब्रांचेस नेचुरली. Under corporate governance norm, what percentage of a wholly owned subsidiary board must be independent directors? तो ये तो और सिंपल है. इंडिपेंडेंट डायरेक्टर्स का रिक्वायरमेंट इन केस ऑफ बोर्ड कितना होता है? इट्स यूजुअली 1/3 ओनली, है ना? तो करेक्ट आंसर वुड बी बी. A wholly owned subsidiary invests 15% of its paid up capital in a financial services subsidiary. Is this permissible? क्या चीज allowed है ये? What do you think? See, अगर provision याद है आपको, which says that individual investments cannot exceed 10%, then you can easily tell कि B is the correct answer. When is a foreign bank branch considered systematically important in India? Systemically important कब consider किया जाएगा उसको? Again, a very simple question. You can eliminate these things. CAR below, it should not be. ये भी नहीं है, कोई लॉजिक ही नहीं है. ओनली वाले तो वैसे ही काट दिया करो. इन दोनों को एक बार कंसिडर कर सकते हैं, तो ये वाला ज़्यादा कन्विंसिंग लग रहा है कंपेयर टू दिस. और इवन आप 50-50 में भी कोई भी चांस लेके चलो तो इट्स नॉर्मली इज द करेक्ट आंसर. So B is the correct answer if its assets exceeds 0.25% of Federal Commercial Bank assets. Last question. A wholly owned subsidiary dilutes its stake to 60% and lists on Indian Stock Exchange. Is this allowed? What do you think is the correct answer? Yes, B is the correct answer. Yes, but only up to 74% as per FDI policy. These were the questions. I hope you got the glimpse कि किस तरीके के questions possible है from all the circulars that have been notified in the month of May. आप लोग का performance कैसा रहा? How much marks you were able to score? Do put it in the comment box so that we will be able to come up with the cutoff. आपको at least competition का अंदाजा लग जाएगा, you know. Then इसके बाद फिर on the basis of these circulars, do try to solve these questions. अब ये जो questions हैं descriptive के, आप इनका attempt करने की कोशिश कीजिए. It's very important because there are high chances of these questions coming into the examination. मैं आपको बता दे रहा हूँ. This is very much important. This including these two also. Approach वही same रखनी है आप लोगों ने. Approach you can take same. Focus on introduction, body, conclusion. Introduction में आप definition रखिए, context रखिए, data रखिए, fact रखिए. All these things you keep. So conclusion में you talk about larger goals. Do try to attempt these questions. Okay. All of them are 600 words, 15 marker questions. Do try to attempt these questions. आप YouTube पे कमेंट में आप पुट इन कर सकते हैं एंड आई विल डेफिनेटली रिव्यू. ठीक है, इस बार मैं डेफिनेटली रिव्यू करूंगा और इसका मॉडल आंसर भी आप लोगों को प्रोवाइड करा दिया जाएगा इन द नेक्स्ट सेशन. ओके, एंड वन मोर अपडेट दैट आई वांट टू टेल यू गाइस. फ्रॉम जून ऑनवर्ड्स all the RBI related sessions, whether it's circulars, whether it's all-in-one circulars, will be conducted in the paid course. Okay. How to deal with long questions as there are 80 questions. शिवम उसमें फिर आप लेके चलिए ना कि आप अटेम्प्ट कर रहे हैं, then you if you know तो फाइन, नहीं पता है तो आगे बढ़ो. रीडिंग कॉम्प्रिहेंशन की अगर आप प्रैक्टिस अच्छे से की हो तो आपकी जो रीडिंग एबिलिटी है, अंडरस्टैंडिंग एबिलिटी है, वो ज़्यादा आपको हेल्प करेगी. ठीक है, फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल डू दोज थिंग्स कि फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल फोकस ऑन करेक्ट क्वेश्चंस, फिर दूसरा राउंड चला के इफ पॉसिबल फोकस ऑन दोज क्वेश्चंस जहाँ आपको लग रहा है कि प्रोबेबिलिटी थोड़ी सी क्या नाम है आंसर्स की, मतलब स्टेटमेंट्स यू कुड हैव एलिमिनेटेड. स्टेटमेंट एलिमिनेट अगर आपने कर दिए तो वहां पर आप चांस ले सकते हैं, यू हैव हाई चांसेस, ठीक है। So this is all for today's session. Do write the answers. I'll check. I'll provide you the model answers in the next session. Thank you guys for joining. We'll meet in the next session. Thank you.